good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification, put it on all so you can be notified, should I say, of all the latest content that we drop on this channel. And yeah, of course, leave us a like and subscribe and all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to talk to you about a bit of middleweight / super middleweight news. And that is the fact that, according to a tweet from Mike Coppinger, who seems to be the source of a lot of the knowledge in the boxing world, he shared something about Billy Joe Saunders, some very interesting news. As many of you will know, boxing fans, that Billy Joe Saunders was due to fight Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, or Andrade, however you want to say it. And that was back, wow, I want to say that was back in 2019. They were meant to fight for Billy Joe Saunders' WBO world title at middleweight. And they were building it up. It was supposed to be held in Boston. And unfortunately, in that time, Billy Joe Saunders, he got busted for, it was one of these PEDs, an over-the-counter substance or something like that. So that fight got scuppered, that fight got scrapped. And for myself and a lot of people, we thought, well, we're not gonna really, this is never gonna happen, not really gonna hear of this again. But according to the latest information from Billy Joe Saunders, Saunders has recently said that he wants to fight in between his potential Canelo fight, because obviously Billy Joe Saunders potentially is the next man, well, not the next man, because Canelo is going to fight that Avni Yildirim in not, I was going to say Turkey, I meant to say Mexico, in his hometown. I think it's Guadalajara, Mexico. So that looks to be next, Yildirim versus Canelo over there in Guadalajara, Mexico, which is Canelo's hometown. So Billy Joe's not going to be next, but he might be the man after Yildirim, something of that nature. So Saunders has come out and said that, you know, I don't want to just leave it till then and just wait till then. I want to have a fight in between. And the interesting thing has been that he said he's very willing to face Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. So he said, according to his words, you know, it's gonna be, he wants it to be, at least he wants to make his WBO title defense at super middle, mind you, against Demetrius Andrade. And I, for one, quite enthusiastic about that fight. I think it would have been better if it took place at middleweight, because I think both of those guys are more sort of natural at middleweight than super middleweight. I think Saunders, he can sometimes pack on the pounds and things of that nature. So I think it's more a case of sort of him filling out. But I think he, at super middleweight, he's not really a big super middleweight. I see him more as a middleweight in terms of his size, his stature. I think that's more where he belongs. But obviously the money, and Canelo Alvarez is at super middle, and he's won a world title at super middle, so you can't really take much away from him. But anyway, so he expressed, he said, look, I've got interest. I want to fight Demetrius Andrade before I fight Canelo Alvarez. And yeah, good news for boxing fans, exciting news. Once again, I hope that this is not just a Twitter thing where he's just saying this for Twitter, or it's just being said for attention. I for one, as a boxing fan, as a guy that I like both fighters, both of them are good, both of them are quite slick southpaw boxers, so it will be an interesting fight if it happens. I mean, you know, it's one that I'd really want to see how the fight between them plays out. I think for me personally, I'd probably have to favor slightly Billy Joe Saunders. I think especially at super middleweight limit, I'd have to favor Saunders. I think something at middle would more suit Andrade, but at super mid, I'd have to say Billy Joe Saunders. I'd have to sort of favor him ever so slightly, because with Andrade, his career has kind of been stalled in a way, and he hasn't really, he's shown top class potential. He has won a world title, but he hasn't really fought anybody major, anybody of real no, he's one of those fighters that I would say really needs to get in there with the big names, with the guys like Saunders. And I can't even say it's 100% his fault, because with Billy Joe Saunders, he didn't have any choice in that matter. I think there was something between him and one of the Charlo brothers, the guy who fights at middle or super mid. That I think that could have happened before, but that fell through somehow. So he's a guy that he needs to start getting in there, stepping up with the big names. He's early 30s now. I think he's about 31, 32 now. So he really needs to start stepping it up. So that fight between Saunders and Andrade, that could be happening at some point in this year, if what Billy Joe Saunders is saying is correct. If it's genuine, then that fight could definitely happen. And Boo Boo's Andrade's mandatory Liam Williams, he's also been sort of chiming in on a conversation, because he's been calling out Andrade non-stop, because obviously he's the mandatory Liam Williams at middleweight. And Andrade has basically dismissed him and said, I'm not really interested in this Liam Williams guy. He doesn't do anything for me. Beating him doesn't really mean anything. It's just because, not obviously America-wise, not many people know this Liam Williams is. Liam Williams is a very good fighter, a British guy, but a lot of the Americans don't know him. So Andrade's been sort of dismissing him and saying, well, it's not worth it, I don't need to fight him, blah blah blah. But the thing is, boxing wise, he is your mandatory, so the right thing to do is to fight him, or you vacate the belt. But Williams chimed in, and Williams has been saying that, look, this guy Boo Boo Andrade, he's not going to fight me, he's going to move up and he's going to fight Saunders, so I'm going to have to bash up this guy Jaime Mungia. And now Jaime Mungia, young Mexican kid, a notable win I can remember for him is him beating Liam Smith back in the days. He beat Liam Smith a few years ago. He has developed since then. Mungia is one of those guys that is a crash, bang, wallop fighter. He's just a guy that goes in there and he wants to do damage. He's an energetic fighter. He's a come forward fighter. And according to Liam Williams, it might have to be him versus Mungia for the vacant WBO strap if Demetrius Andrade goes up to super middle to fight with Billy Joe Saunders. So that's another. So if it does happen, Saunders Andrade, then we might get another very good fight in Williams versus Mungia. Because Mungia, he's an exciting fighter, good, solid puncher. He's a guy that comes forward. He's a guy that always is in entertaining fights, exciting fights. He's a guy that he does take risks. So I think him versus Williams would be a great fight and I'd be very happy if we could get both Andrade versus Saunders and Mungia versus Williams, as I think both of them would be good fights. Even though it would be for the vacant with Williams and Mungia, would be a good, entertaining scrap. It wouldn't have a dull moment in it, because both of those guys, they come to fight. Liam Williams is developing, he's improving all the time. So yeah, it looks like even if the mandatory between Andrade and Williams don't happen, it could lead to two very exciting fights. So yeah, that's just a bit of breaking news on the boxing scene. If we're lucky, we might see Saunders versus Andrade this year, and we might see Mungia versus Williams. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Bit of breaking news. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let us know what you think about those fights, outcome of Saunders versus Andrade or Williams versus Mungia. Tell us what you think, and until next time, this is MKO Pugilism, over and out. Catch you on the next one.